At the T-minus 3-minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. The added mission sequence starts. The engine is now building up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. Moving back. The Saturn V lifting off with power.
This is WOMM LP operating out of Burlington from 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor. And with me tonight, welcoming back, Marxist Jargon. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Wonderful to see all of your smiling faces again. I'm not sure which have been exchanged out in the few years that we've last seen each other. But great to have you back in the studio. We like kicking it off with a song. So what have you guys got for us?
This song is called Facebook, and like most of my songs that I've written, it's about me. You might not be able to tell that from it, though. 1, 2. I don't know if I know the right way to live. Sometimes I worry that I take more than I give, and I'm not living up to what I could be. Coasting along all the privilege you don't earn, trying to do better, but I never seem to learn, and I think I'm squandering my opportunity. I don't think that it helps out one bit, so I feel guilty just for feeling it. Optimism is a choice I get to decide. Give myself some credit, look on the bright side. At least I don't work for Facebook. At least I'm not a genius pulling 6 figs to get you more addicted to your own insecurity. At least I don't work for Facebook. I don't help spread disinformation all across the nation. Make people feel more depressed and lonely. I feel I'm wasting time and I'm wasting space, maybe even on my good days. Getting stuck on all the things I know I should be doing. Feel I'm sitting out of all the crucial fights. Don't do enough for other people's rights, or to save the world from its impending ruin. Sometimes I think I overthink all of this. It is not the second guessing so much as the things are better. Makes it harder to help make a better world, but maybe stops you from making it too much worse. At least I don't work for Facebook. At least I'm not a genius pulling 6 figs to get you more addicted to your own insecurity. At least I don't work for Facebook. I don't help to spread disinformation all across the nation. Make people feel more depressed and lonely. So this is like usually the part of the song where I like go on some like long rant that like maybe gives context, but we're on an interview show, so I don't think I'm gonna do it this time.
right, Marxist jargon there. At least I don't work for Facebook. Ben, I've got to ask, the middle of that song, you're meant to go on a rant, and then you held yourself back because this is an interview show. So now I need to know what you were going to rant. What's the rant?
So I like do it kind of off the cuff every time. I can give like the context of that song is like two things. Of one, like a periodic like crisis in my life. Like I don't know like what I'm doing with myself. I was in graduate school, and like most people in graduate school, like doing a PhD, like go through like several of these processes. Where it's like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And so like sort of the part of the song is about me that's about that, but it's also about this interesting thing where in our society, it's not like about social media per se being bad, but it's just there are a lot of people who are incredibly smart and incredibly talented, and their job is to make you spend more time on social media. Which is like pretty wild to think about, because it's just like mostly like social media, like using it right is about like using it like a little bit, you know, and like figuring out how you like build balance in your life with it. But there's like all these people who are like, no, like they're trying to like get eyeballs on things more. And you know, I remember hearing about this interview with the guy who invented infinite scroll. So you know, you go on Instagram or Facebook, and it just like you never in the old days on a blog, you had to click the bottom right to go to the next page. And this guy was like. He was basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, yeah, I like am like Hitler because I like if you think about all the extra hours of people's days multiplied by billions of people, and you know all the years and days, like I've basically killed like millions of people, and we're just like, dude, like don't be so hard on yourself.
That's quite an ego right there. I'd say, you know, they probably weren't going to do too much extra that day anyway, you know. We're assuming that all of us have very, very meaningful lives, and he was drawing us away from these things. But yeah, I kind of got the impression that Facebook is a placeholder for this larger thing. And I honestly don't think it's actually, I mean, I do get what you say where you mean, you know, all these great minds of our generation are getting pulled into Silicon Valley and whatnot. Honestly, I think it's more people that can get people to gamble. I think it's the great minds of Las Vegas have just moved to Silicon Valley really, and know how to make us all click on stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if we've really lost too many great minds to Silicon Valley. I hope not.
I love that.
So you guys, sorry, not trying to be rude. Let's introduce everyone so we can get a sense of who's here. So everyone, let's go from stage left to stage right.
Okay, I'm Drea, and I play cajon and sing backup vocals and a little bit of washboard.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm Evan, and I'm playing cello tonight, and sometimes I play other instruments with the band, but cello tonight.
My name's Lauren. I play the fiddle, kind of.
My name's Ben, and I sing and I play the mandolin.
I'm Sam, and I make dinner.
It's the most important job in the band, actually.
And sing when my voice is feeling better. And we're missing tonight our two most rock star members, Meg and Bar, who are normally playing with us.
No, well, I hope they are listening in at the very least to hear what they are missing. So you guys came on 2-3 years ago. 3, 4?
3-ish. 3-ish years ago, I
Yeah, at
think.
least
4.
Yeah.
Oh my
Really?
Started in
Oh my gosh.
2018.
I'm an old man.
September 2018, yeah, 4 years.
Wow. So 4 years. I hate it when people ask me what's new, and I've not seen them in about 4 years. But I'm going to do the very same thing to you guys. So what's new? What's different since we last spoke to you?
We came out with an album called Anti-Space Opera. It's on Spotify. You can search us, Marxist Jargon. That's what's new. We went on a little Vermont tour to promote it this last summer, and that was lots of fun.
We opened for the Bread and Puppet Circus, which was
That was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
For that,
Very
it was
on brand.
very impromptu. We just like called them the day before. It's like, we had things fall through. Can we play with you? And ended up with like people show up at Bread and Puppet, ready to be taken on a weird ride.
Which is what our album
so
is.
true.
And our album is a weird ride.
Did you play the whole album? Because it's a concept album, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
does someone want to explain the album actually, rather than me trying to explain your album to you? Could someone want to explain what this album's about?
I don't feel like I'm qualified.
Yeah, the person who really came up with the narrative, stringing together mostly existing songs of ours, is Meg, who's not here tonight, and she made up a narrative about space and revolution and refinding home.
I feel like that's perfect.
So yeah, our
Yeah.
album is interspersed spoken word narratives and tunes.
So it's called Anti-Space Opera. It does have this kind of story arc, as far as I know, starting in the year 2050. And from what I can understand, apart from the fact it's got Jeff Bezos' penis rocket on the album sleeve, which is the best use of that rocket, honestly, that I have seen so far. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, what's going on in the year 2050, which, from the sounds of it, not many great things. Is there a happy ending to it? I only listened to the first couple of songs. So.
You'll have to listen and find out. Depends on your definition of happy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's joyful and triumphant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is.
I'm glad about that. So one of my questions here tonight is actually, in the last few years I've seen you, you know, you as a Marxist, anti-capitalist, anarchist band, what you were singing about 4 or 5 years ago has largely just kind of come true, or is coming true, or is soon to come true. So as things aren't getting any better, and you guys are all seem to be, you know, a fairly well-voiced Nostradamus. Do you continue doing this in order to, because it's a cathartic shriek into the void, or is there more to it than this?
It's definitely that. We also describe ourselves as a political education initiative.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums that up, because I'm pretty angry about a lot of things, and being in Marxist jargon helps me, like you said, it's like cathartic.
I just show up for Sam's dinner, personally.
So you're just in it for the food.
Yeah, I
in all
mean,
honesty.
dinner's pretty amazing, actually.
It's cathartic and it's also fun, and I
It's
feel
so
like that's
fun.
a really important thing. Like, especially if we feel despair about what's happening around us, is to come together and do things that are fun and find joy where you can.
Yeah.
Is that a form of protest in and of itself, or is that just something to do, something to do while the ship sinks, basically?
Maybe it could be.
It's like better to err again away from fatalism, but it can be hard sometimes. But
Yeah, it depends where you're having fun and at whose expense.
if I was a fatalist, I might work at Facebook, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure they provide good lunches, which apparently is one of the big draws to
Apparently, their lunches are getting worse.
this.
Yeah.
Have you
they're-
been
Do you have an
scouring
insider
Business
No,
Insider?
I heard this talk. They're reeling in the perks because people are less into tech than they thought they were going to be.
And so now
And
you
so,
get
yeah.
a $10 gift voucher to Subway on a daily basis rather than like a unlimited buffet.
That's right.
Yeah, well,
No, only $5 foot long.
they made their bed. They can sleep in it. Yeah. So this is the first album. You came out with your album in 2019. At least we don't work at Facebook. Fantastically named album. I'm assuming the first song is from that first album. This second album, what was the impetus to kind of get back in the recording studio?
This was the Anti-Space Opera. We considered our first album. The Facebook EP was when we made a little video for NPR's Tiny Desk contest, and then recorded a couple other songs with the same setup. But it wasn't like mixed or mastered or anything.
So this, in your
But
opinion, is your...
nice.
Sorry, go on.
Well, you asked why we recorded an album, and
Oh,
a big
yeah.
part of that is because Mais wanted to record some of our songs, and then we kind of took that 10 steps further and said, well, we have this whole album and story. Let's do that.
Oh,
Yeah, we
wonderful.
recorded it in this building in Mais's little studio.
Yeah.
He threw a little bit of bass on a couple tracks too,
Oh.
because we've cycled through bass players, and apparently we've gotten closer to having a bass player and a cello.
Yeah.
Evan, but
Not playing bass this evening. It should be added. Yeah,
You
very
just
much
look like
playing
a really
playing the
big
cello.
bass player.
Really small.
And so Mama Yeast wanted to kind of get some of these tracks down, and you guys were like, all right, let's go do that, and then kind of even built on it from there. So prior to May's kind of coming to you, was there ever a kind of an idea of actually putting these down? Because you guys have been going for a long time now. It's been 4 years since you've been in this studio, but I mean, it's been like 6, 7 years since you got started.
No, 4 years. We've been going for 4 years.
Oh.
Since 2018. A few lineup changes, and yeah, we wanted to record the anti-space opera because it was actually a performance we'd been doing periodically for a couple years before we recorded it, and then after the album came out and we went on tours, when we actually got good at performing it.
But it also put it at a point where we could also, I think for some people, they wanted to get good at it, and for some people they wanted to be able to like leave it behind. You know, be like, okay, like this is a thing. It's been recorded. We've toured on it, and now it's kind of chapter.
We can
closed.
chalk that one off. Yeah, hit that milestone. Let's move on to the next milestone, kind of thing. Well, I'd love to hear another song. So what you guys got for us?
There's a hen in the coop who crows like a cock in the middle of the night, but we don't call the cops. Our neighbors party till the weekend stops, making noise round the clock, but we don't call the cops. In the front yard, we're growing lots of crops when a plant gets bobbed. Still, we don't call the cops. Outside in the street when a pistol pops, the cops come running, but we don't call the cops. Bottoms and tops, we never 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 call the cops. Something gets stolen when you're working at a shop, maybe make them give it back, but you don't call the cops. If you're a pig, we'll feed you some slop, but if you're the police, we'll treat you like a cop. Never call you.
Never call you.
Bottoms and tops, we never call the cops. 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 I might see a crime when I'm out on a walk, but if you're a cop, I'm never gonna talk. Somebody gets shot, I just reach for a mop and clean a body up, cause I don't call the cops.
I'm assuming the song was called Never Call the Cops there by Marxist Jargon. I feel like the song was fairly self-explanatory, but I would love it if someone would elaborate on this song in specifically.
Yeah, I mean, the song is about not calling the cops, and also about believing in a world where men with guns and the authority to use them don't have to show up for things like mental health crises and petty theft and conflicts between neighbors.
What was quite stark in my head when you were singing this is you were referring, or at least in some parts, referring to a place where some of you live, Hunger for Terrorists, which is very well known in Burlington. You provide lots of food for the community, do lots of mutual aid. I do believe that you had your fridge stolen in the summer, which of course you wouldn't have called the cops to do when that happened. But yeah, I mean, you do actually like grow crops in your front yard. You have had your next door neighbors who we turned to a gig the other day where Lavangela were playing, and we thought that they weren't playing it because your next door neighbors were playing such a loud gig, and we're like, that doesn't sound like Lavangela. We're gonna go get some pizza and come back again, and then maybe they'll be playing. And we came back, and then they were down to the last 2 songs, and it turned out it was your next door neighbors. So yeah, your neighbors do make a lot of noise. So yeah, tell us
during the school calendar.
Yeah, tell us about Hunger for Terrorists. Tell us about what the kind of principles you live with, and what kind of community you've created there.
I mean, that's where we have dinner and play music every Thursday. But I think I'll circle back around to that and let Lauren talk a little bit about some of the work that we're involved in right now first.
So yeah, this has to do with sort of, given that we have cops and given that people call them, it would be great to have better oversight for when they do things that we as a community don't approve of. So folks, if if you live in Burlington and you're a registered voter, you have one more day to sign a really cool petition. And this would put a ballot measure on the upcoming March election to change the city charter and create an independent community oversight board for the Burlington Police. So right now, if there's like an issue of misconduct within the police station, it is the police station's job to investigate it and make disciplinary action. And this would just remove that responsibility, or add an additional board that's outside of the police station to also do that work. And this was actually already approved by City Council and vetoed by Moreau. And they almost overturned the veto, and they were one vote short. So now we are nearing 2,000 signatures. And if you want to sign, you can still do that in the next day, either by going to Distro, which Sam will talk about.
1 to 2 p.m. at the Marketplace Garage off Cherry Street is where Food Not Cops Lunch happens every day. And that's a project that's organized in part out of our house, the Hunger Fort, that some of us live at. So that's a place you can go for $0 lunch and a good time any day, but tomorrow especially, that's a place where there will be clipboards and sheets where you can sign your name on this important petition about the Community Oversight Board.
You can also go to a website, which I'm going to say now if people want to listen. So if you want to fill out this petition, go to tinyurl.com/BTV petition, and someone will get a hold of you to help you sign it. And I think it's a really good thing, so please do that.
It very much is, and this has been a few years in the making. From
Oh,
what I know of, I am very curious about tomorrow being the deadline, because I've got a petition going in Winooski right now, and I really want to know whether or not I need all my petition signatures in for tomorrow. I thought it was next Friday was the deadline, but maybe we can talk about that part after. Yeah, so this is this is a ballot measure. It goes in tandem with another ballot measure, right? Prop 0, because in Burlington you can't actually get something on the ballot through signature efforts, which is a weird municipal anomaly in Burlington outside of the rest of Vermont, where you can get things on the ballot through a signature effort. So we actually need to do a signature effort to get the right to do a signature effort. It's a bit of a weird thing.
Right.
But yeah, very valuable stuff, and certainly been in support of this for a long time. So yeah, how much is Hungerford? How much is Marxist Jargon been kind of part of these efforts? And what other efforts are you doing right now?
I mean, mostly Marxist Jargon, we're willing to come to rallies and other events and play political tunes when we're asked to.
Yeah, our housemate has been super involved in this petition for years, and so we are helping a bit at the end because it's a great thing. But he's been going every single week to meetings to like put this together and get people to sign.
Yeah, this idea for the Community Oversight Board for Police in Burlington came out of the Battery Park movement when folks occupied Battery Park next to the police station for a month in 2020 in the wake of the Jacob Blake shooting. And yeah, our housemate Tyler, who sometimes incidentally plays cajon with us, has been one of the prime gatherers of signatures around town the last couple of years.
Yeah, and 2,000 signatures is nothing to sniff at. So yeah, it's been very impressive. It's been a long time coming as well. So I hope you've got enough. Is 2,000 enough? I know it's 5% in most municipalities of registered voters. Is 2,000 seems like more than enough, to be honest.
I think they need just under 2,000, and right now we have that number of signatures, but with the error rate, we don't know how many of them are duplicates or not registered to vote. So we just want to make sure it passes that threshold.
Yeah, amen to that one.
Yeah.
Well, probably about time for another song. So what you guys got for us?
Which one are we supposed to do next? What did we decide? Oh yeah, so this is my songs are just going to get older and older as this set goes on. So this is a song I wrote back in 2010. So much older than Marxist Jargon.
It took a while to convince Ben to play this as a Marxist Jargon. We're finally there now. It's on the radio.
I know this girl who has a garden and she makes it grow with love. You'd have to see it to believe how well it grows. And if you want to know her secret, well, you can't see it from above. It's hidden in the earth way down below. You know she listens to her soil. She gives it everything it needs. She treats it gently, keeps it covered, safe and sound. And with all that's living down there, she's got 1 trillion mouths to feed. So it comes as no surprise, she's got no time to notice me. I wish she'd treat me like dirt. 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 Oh, I wish she'd rub me off her hands on the back of her skirt, keep a digging on me until her back hurts. Roll her around and me dissolve all boundaries we came from, and we're all bound to be dirt. But she won't treat me like dirt. Oh, that steady strength and ease gives all her focus to each plan, one by one. And I wish she'd only give me half the faith she gives a seed. Then with all her tender care, she could make flowers bloom from me. I wish she'd treat me like dirt. Like dirt. I wish she'd treat me like dirt. I wish she'd treat me like dirt. Oh, I wish she'd rub me off her hands on the back of her skirt, keep a digging on me until her back hurts. Roll her around and me dissolve all boundaries we came from, and we're all bound to be dirt. But she won't treat me like dirt.
thinking about you, my heart turns to tomato paste. Just to staring at those fruits and at your face. These things aren't meant for only looking. Oh, won't you let me have a taste? And if you still don't want me, compost me. Don't let me go to waste. And won't you treat me like dirt? Won't you treat me like dirt? Honey, treat me like dirt. Oh, darling, treat me like dirt. Oh, won't you rub me off your hand on the back of your skirt? Keep digging on me until your back hurts. Roll around and we can solve all boundaries where we came from, and we're all bound to be dirt. So, honey, treat me like dirt.
All right, Marxist Jargon there with Dirt. That is a lovely little ditty of a song. What a wonderful image that you gave in that song. It's beautiful. So you wrote that back in 2010. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that was yeah. It was like right about I was like out of college for a little while. I was living in Charlotte with a friend of mine on their little farm, and I was thinking about going back to school. I ended up going back to school at Green Mountain College, and like when I like went to visit, I was like living like alone in the country, you know, like Charlotte's not that far, but I like didn't own a car, and I was just like out there, you know, and I was like, and anyway, I was like visiting there, and I like met while I was visiting college, like I met a girl who I was like really attracted to, and nothing ever happened with it, but I like went home and I was like, oh man, like, and that song like kind of like spit out.
I obviously the juxtaposition of being wanting to be treated like dirt, and feeling that is something that's a bad thing. It's a lovely like turn of phrase. It's very
Yeah, well, it's partially inspired. Like this is like an old like Burlington thing back when the compost facility was at the Intervale. There was a bumper sticker that the Intervale compost products had that said, "Don't treat your soil like dirt." And so that was like part of the. I saw that bumper sticker before I wrote that song. I forgot about that, but yeah.
So Ben, prior to Marxist Jargon, you've been writing songs for a long time. So is it mostly your kind of impetus in terms of the songs get written here? Are you the main lyricist for Marxist Jargon?
Well, so people are getting a little bit of a distorted picture of the overall breadth of the sound because I write maybe like a quarter of the songs, maybe and maybe a little less. And Sam and Meg tend to, especially in recent times, have been much more. They're much more prolific than me. But Sam has some kind of cold. And his voice is not doing that well today. And Meg is away doing field work in West Virginia for her PhD. So
I see.
So it's left with me and my songs.
I see. So we get the Ben special this evening.
Ben's also moving away, so it's appropriate.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
This is sad.
yeah, moving to
This is
Ithaca, New
very
York.
sad.
Yeah,
At the
we're
end of the-
devastated.
Ithaca, you said?
Yes,
Okay, so not a million miles away, but
not a million, but it's a
Might
it's a
as
haul.
well
a
be.
fair distance, especially from someone that said Charlotte is really out in the sticks. So.
It's a long way from Ithaca to our Thursday night dinner and practice, but we're sure Ben will make it every week.
Yeah. He's promised, after all, on radio no less. So tell me a little bit about your Thursday night dinners and practices. How does Marxist Jargon operate? How do you stay together? What does a coming together and writing a song look like for you guys?
Almost all of our songs are written individually by Ben or me or Meg, and then brought to the band, and then transformed. Often my songs get transformed through critique. Like like the We Don't Call the Cops, I think, was like originally inspired by my friend Jazz's shirt that says bottoms and tops, we all hate cops, and that's what I was yelling about. And then it turned into a children's song that's just We Don't Call the Cops, which I love it more than
Because you can't sing about hate in a children's song.
Yeah, no, forget hate though. We don't need that. Like hate's beside the point. Like we just don't call them.
Children, adults, tops, bottoms.
So we'd have
everyone.
some constructive co-songwriting. But what gets us together as a band mostly is dinner and also upcoming shows. We can be hard to wrangle unless there's something specific to practice for, like all bands.
Well, when your back's against the wall. How does Hunger for Terrorists, from all intents and purposes, is kind of commune, I would say.
We have a landlord.
You do have a landlord?
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. As do we. But it's somewhat a commune. It's the way it operates. You've got you grow your own food and you kind of have your pitch in and you do kind of. I mean, it's a bit different than just a regular share house. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Does that help when it comes to being in a band? Because you've kind of got that division of labor and you've got that expectation that your fellow band person is going to do the work that you want them to do and kind of be consciously okay with critiques or changes and whatnot. Does that help out, or is it actually detrimental to a band? Do we need a leader?
You
think
need a
that-
leader.
I think that at least the responsibility to make dinner happen every night disproportionately always falls on Sam, regardless of the fact that many of us live together. But it also means that there's other housemates who will come and like crochet for the band during practice and who, see our practices as a performance and love it. And I think the fact that many of us live in situations where we opt into navigating difficult situations with love and with friends probably makes it easier to also do projects together and give Sam the feedback that we want a little more nuance.
If you could not be so heavy-handed with your metaphors, then that would be great. I actually really love the lyricism. I think you've touched on. It's very funny. It's very clever. There's lots of turns of phrases from what I can gather. So either the criticism is working, or Sammy should stop listening to these guys. They're doing nothing.
Somewhere in there, but yeah, it's the same set of skills in the living intentionally in community and trying to be in a leaderless band.
You're a secretary, I think, is your official title.
I make dinner and I'm often the administrative person, and I get really grumpy about it if people don't thank me a lot.
It's pretty cheap dinner still. If it's just gratuity based.
Yeah, we steal the ingredients from Food Not Cops most of the time, so it's all cycle.
Yeah. So tell me about this tour. So you guys went out on the tour in the summer to kind of promote this album, or at least bring it to the masses. You're up in Glover at the very least. Where else did you go? How did this get received?
Played at Junkteeks Collective, an album release show that was amazing. Eric George played. Marxist Jargon performed the record and then played a little more. And then Brass Balagan just basically
Brought the party,
yeah. Everybody threw
As
down
they
really
do.
hard on the dance floor. Then we went to the that was at Junkteeks Collective. I don't know if I said that. Went to the Plainfield Opera House, which was really fun. Played a house show in Vershire, Vermont, and we played on the Brattleboro Common.
We played at Plainfield with Johanna, who is here next week.
She is here next
So
week.
listen into Johanna. She's awesome. We love her.
Very much looking forward to that. We had Lavangela the other day, which you also had a Hunger Free. And now she's coming back on. They're coming back on. Sorry. We are very excited for them. But what's your connection with Johanna and
How did that
Lavangela, or is it
happen?
kind of just you guys all kind of play similar-ish music?
We played at Lavendel and Marxist Jargon both played at a show at Glennis Hill Farm this summer.
Yeah, there was a
And we were
fundraiser there for CSA.
Enamored with each other. So we've been trying to schedule shows together since then.
You all do seem like you fit very well as an opener and a main. Either way, to be honest. Yeah. Well, we got time for about one more song. So what have you got to play it out with?
So this is the first song off of our record. It's called The Space Robot Commuter Rail, and I wrote it when I was 18 years old. And I'd first moved to Burlington, Vermont, which was back in 2006. So,
So impressive.
in some ways, it's a really deep cut, and in some ways, it's not a deep cut because it's the first song off of a record. So, thanks so much for listening in, world. 3, 2, 1. Hopeless learning, I can feel stress riding on the space robot commuter rail. Those long days sorting stardust days me feel like I'm rust. Sometimes I forget that place is not a jail. Million miles a minute takes me to my planet. I'm told it's home, but it feels so alien. 4 hours of repairs, updating my software. Go out next morning, do it all again. Oh, I know there's something more than the speed of light, something that my chips and circuits can't calculate. This can't be all of it, the stars and empty space, massive black holes and the vast nebulae. Oh, I've got half a mind to just go end up and leave this whole galaxy, this whole galaxy. I don't know what I want, but I know I can't just be a machine in a car of a larger machine. No matter what my manual may say in section C, I was not meant for so it's not me. My finger says that I'm a CYRX-17, but I think I'm me, yeah, I think I'm me. Feel the same way. I don't know how to find out someone who shares my doubt, but I'm gonna try, gonna make me okay. Oh, I know there's something more than the speed of light, something that my chips and circuits can't calculate. This can't be all of it, the stars and empty space, massive black holes and the vast nebulae. Oh, I've got half the mind to just go end up and leave this whole galaxy, this whole galaxy. I don't know what I want, but I know I can't just be a machine in a car of a larger machine. No matter what my manual may say in section C, I was not meant for, so this not me. My finger says that I'm a CYRX-17, but I think I'm me, yeah, I think I'm me. Oh, I've got half a mind to just go end up and leave this whole galaxy, this whole galaxy. I don't know what I want, but I know I can't just be a machine in a car of a larger machine. No matter what my manual may say in section C, I was not meant for, so it's not me. My finger says that I'm CYRX-17, but I think I'm me. I think I'm me.
Marxist Jargon playing us out with there with Space Robot Commuter Rail. Guys, thank you so much for coming back in the studio. Please don't wait 4 years next time. It would be great.
Thank you.
No, we really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
not
lot
at
of
all.
fun.
As we have already announced, Johanna Rose coming in next week, and that will be the last Rocket Shop of 2022. So please tune in for that. They are massively talented and probably have some great stories. They've been on tour with several different people over the last few months, so we're going to hear some interesting stories. But for tonight, this has been WOMM LP operating out of Burlington, Vermont. This has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night. Woo! Thank you guys so much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
It's always so fun to be here.